Okay, I just wanted you to know what I couldn't do with Foley's Russian bees, I did on my own. 2017, I placed an order for 46 queens were shipped to me, and I ordered something around 40 something. He sent some extras. And with the packaged queens I had a total of 60, but with the queens that died during shipping, and then the fact that Foley's Russian bees weren't resistant to mites, my 60 quickly went to 20 within 2 months. And I managed to survive through winter with about 12 colonies, 2/3 of them being Foley's Russian bees, the other 1/3 being Italian. So I went back to breeding my own bees in 2018, and here it is 2019. And I have somewhere in the 50s laying queens, and by the end of the week I'm going to have 60 laying queens. I've done about 90% on my second round of mating of queens. And this right here is just a quick review here. I do have some queens from last year that aren't doing so well. I don't know if it's from the chemicals that the farmer sprayed in mid-May. That nicotine or whatever pesticide they used. It's not good for bees. But because the chemical companies have so much money, they pretty much run our government. Until us beekeepers get together and form a strong union and stop doing this pollination services through all these corporate farms, this stuff is going to go on and on and on. So you're just wasting your time. If you can keep your bees away from those pesticides, you're lucky. But if you keep them near a field, you're going to lose them, and you're going to have to buy bees the following year. Okay, this right here is my, I don't know, it's my second round from the colonies from last year. I split them end of May and end of June. I split them again. And these all have virgin queens. There's somewhere around 30 there. And if I do 90% like I've been doing the last couple weeks, I should end up with at least 25 out of here. And this one here is my first round. You don't see any bees going in and out. I'm trying to cut down on robbing. I've noticed robbing already, so I've stuck a rag in the top hole. And I did move this colony in order to increase the numbers. After splits, like 11 days after a split, I go ahead and I separate further, split out more. Each frame that has a queen cell on it gets a separate colony. So I ended up with quite a few colonies here, a lot more than I expected. So I ended up moving this colony that was over there at the corner of my garage, got moved down. So they lost some bees from the move because I didn't have time to do it in a slow motion fashion or whatever. And then over here, because I run out of room, these are last year's colonies after the split 2 weeks ago. And more than likely these will still be large enough to winter outside. All the colonies that I produce this year will be the colonies I use for my honey production next year. And these colonies that were made in 2018, they will stay here, and I will use those for breeding colonies next year because there's a good chance a lot of these queens won't make it more than 2 years. These are all new with exception of these 3 here are last year's queens that I moved out, and I put them in whatever space I had. Every colony, every queen that I've created has outperformed Foley's tenfold over. Foley's Russian bees is a complete waste of money. The bees that survived the trip from Iowa to Michigan and then survived the viruses from the mites, weren't really all that great until I mated them with drones from Michigan Bee Works. Now look at this. This is a colony that's only a month old. Foley's Russian bees could not do that. This one here is a couple weeks old. But look at that, number 69. Everybody loves 69. I love 69 too. I've got more bees now than I expected to have. Okay, and this is the last row. White tops are laying queens, galvanized tops are virgin queens, and these will be due at the end of the week here. Today's Wednesday. By Sunday I'm going to know if the queen is mated or not. Like I showed you in a previous video, I use a deep. I take out 2 frames on each side with new foundation, and I can slide that center frame from left to right and find that queen without having to pick out the frame. All you idiots that are using newt boxes, you can't pick the frame out when a virgin queen is able to fly, because she'll take off and she'll end up in another hive and get killed. Good luck trying to find a virgin queen when you have 100 hives on your property. You're better off using a deep. Don't take the frame out. Slide it from one side to the other, and you can find that queen on the frame without taking the frame out of the deep. Now these are all new colonies, with the exception of 63 here. That's last year's. They're filling the spot they had open. But this one is new. This is only a month old, 75. And I don't understand why more beekeepers don't number their hives. I could not keep track of what's going on without numbers on these hives. Even with numbers on the hives, it's hard enough to keep track of what's going on. I did have 2 instances this summer where I had a runt queen come out of a queen cell and destroy all the other good queens in the queen cells. And then I tried to get that runt queen, and she took off, and she ended up in another colony and destroyed all the queen cells in that colony. So if you have time to go through and destroy all the queen cells at day 5 to make sure you don't end up with a runt queen. And then sometimes if they have a small colony, they're not fed well, you get a runt queen, and they get out and they destroy all the good queens, and you end up with a queen that can't get mated. So you pretty much wasted your time on that colony. And then when that runt queen gets out away from you and destroys queens from other colonies, you pretty much wasted time on several colonies. So anyway, that's it.